Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. And we're having our Trump coffee today, and I'm a little upset. Of course, it don't take much to get me upset these days. But I wasn't going to do a video on this. But I've come to the conclusion I'm going to have to. My landlord went and bought him a set of doors, and believe me, looking for doors for these side-by-sides are ridiculously costly. I don't see how these people can justify the price that they put on these cheap-ass doors. Yeah, I'm mad. So I received it today, and I got to putting it on, and I'll show you what we got. Now this is a 570, and it calls for these doors that I just got. Those are the doors. They're not even installed yet. They're just temporarily mocked up, just so I can get an idea of what they've got going on here. So it's got a magnet right here in this. It's got a magnet right there, and it's got a magnet up here. I don't know what the purpose of that magnet's for, but that's a little aggravating to see this kind of a design. All right, so remember, this is a 570, and this is meant for the 570. But look here, it doesn't go all the way down like it's supposed to. So we're all the way at the top, and we're not even completely at the top. It needs to go up even higher than that to make that work. And this here is the tubing that they got in it. And this one here, as you can see, it's not even all the way in its socket like that right there. But that's not even the biggest problem with these. This is that old thin ass stuff that if you breathe on it, it'll bend. And these here are just little old plastic pieces that is supposed to be for the hinge. All right. So then it wraps around the windshield. Now that we're not going to have too much of a problem with, because once I do this, I've got an idea of how I'm going to do this. This is still going to be used right here like this. We're just going to put this Velcro on this windshield and use that as a way to deter air from going into the cab. But because this doesn't fit right here like this, I mean, this is air coming in. And if you pull it, then you're going to throw it out up there. If you pull it up there, it throws it out right here. So no matter how you do this, it's not going to ever be right. So they only give you, now I got a big box I got to deal with. This is the hardware that they give you. Junk. Junk. That's all it is, junk. I was so mad I sent him a message and told him he ought to be ashamed of himself to sell shit like that. He paid $500 some for these freaking doors. There's not even a $50 worth of canvas there, or plastic. All that put together, there's not even $50 worth of material in any of these doors, and that's giving it. That's giving it credit that it doesn't deserve. These are the worst doors I've ever seen in my life. The worst design I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, they might work, but what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take, first I got to fix that. That's sticking out too far. Somebody's missing the screw there in it. But we're just going to get us a piece of plywood, and we're going to cut it the shape of the door to where it fits inside this channel right here. We're going to get a 1/2 inch piece of plywood. We'll take this off because it used to have a door on it, but it got lost, and this is probably about the 3rd owner. So the first two owners, one of the two lost them. I think the first one lost them. It was an old woman. So we're going to try to make us a piece of plywood to fit all this area right here. Then I got to figure out how I'm going to hinge it. So we'll probably put a hinge here somehow. I don't know how we're going to do this. It's probably going to have to be right here, because it's going to have to be on a straight shot. So we'll put our hinge here and maybe here. I don't know what kind of a hinge we're going to put on it, but I may have to build a set of hinges for it. The only other option would be to put our hinges here. You'd have a lot more meat here to work with to put a hinge, because this here is just all plastic stuff right here. I don't know if that would hold a hinge or not. And believe it or not, that is part of the dash. So we really don't want to be drilling and messing with that. So we may have to make these suicide doors. I don't know. It looks like that's what they were to begin with, because this is the latch. So we may have to make suicide doors for it. And then once we get the plywood mounted, then we can take and cut. We can just cover it with this and mark it where these windows are, and just cut this area out for the windows, and then just pin it to it all the way around. And the same thing down here, we'll put a window in here also, and then this part that's sticking out, we'll just we'll paint the door black so it matches, and that'll kind of blend in a little bit better. So we're going to eliminate this bar right here. So we're going to get rid of that bar. That bar ain't worth a crap. It might be good in other uses, but not in this one. So we're going to go and see if we can't get some plywood today, as soon as he gets his truck done. We're going to try to go get some plywood and see if we can't improve on this shitty design. I mean, that is just ridiculous for them to sell something for that much money. Even if the seamstress thought that she was worth a lot of money, it's the sewing in this is not even worth that much. So this is a poor design, and we're going to improve on this design. That's crazy for them to sell something like that $500 and some dollars. I think it was like $512, something like that. So there's no way this door, even if they thought it was the best door in the world, it still ain't worth more than $50 a piece, if that. But that's going into it knowing that you have to modify it. These are supposed to be designed where you don't have to modify your shit. You just put your hinges in place, and it's supposed to be done. These people slap this thing together. Oh, that's good enough. Let's just wrap that around there and put a magnet on it. That'll hold it. Dumbasses. You got Velcro everywhere. So we're going to make this a solid door, but we're going to use the canvas as our window and our bottom window. So we're going to try to make this a little better. So once we get the plywood, we'll be back. Well guys, we went yesterday and got our wood, and I cut out the doors to fit the holes, and there's still a lot of trimming left to do, but I've got them a little, just a hair oversized, maybe an 1/8 inch oversized, so I can go in and do some trimming around places that needs to be relieved. So basically this is what we're starting off with. This was the doors that they sent us, and as I showed you in the last scene for today, these ain't gonna work. They're chintzy, they're cheap. They had an old rod in them that was so thin that you just couldn't work with it. So I made these. Now we're probably gonna have to do some bending right about in this area right here. Kind of bend it. I don't know how I'm gonna do that yet. It's gonna require weight and water, preferably warm water. So what I'm thinking is once I've got the door shaped, then I can put it up there and start trimming it. So, but for now, so it's easier to manage, we need to overcome a few problems, but I think we can make it work. I'm hoping we don't have to do a two-piece door. I don't want to. I think I can make these look pretty decent. I know I don't like plywood doors. I think they look rednecky and just, but I think I can make it work. And I think I can make it look nice too. So, but here's one of our problems we got to overcome. I took the rods out of these and thought, well, these were kind of bigger, taller than the door. So I thought, well, I'll just use this as a covering. And put that on there, but wouldn't you know, it won't cover it. So we're down to not putting canvas on the front of it. We planned on using this to just cover this. So since that's not going to work, we're going to have to do some modifications here. So we're going to have to cut these windows out individually and put them in places where we want them to be. So I'm going to position it about, split the difference here, and then I'm going to mark where I'm going to put these holes. So I want to make sure I got enough lip on the outside of this so that I can mount this on the inside of the door. It's really the only way you can do this. So the canvas ain't big enough to cover the whole door, so we're going to have to figure out another way to do this. So I'm just going to cut about 2 inches, whatever difference is between this, so I can split the difference and just cut this right here all the way around. We got our 2 windows that'll go in here and here. So right now we just got to cut that out. Anyway, the guy's here that's going to help me. One that owns this. So we'll get you to the next step. Alright guys, we've had to regroup. We've come across so many different ideas about how we want to do this door, and I made a template for it. I don't know where we put it, but I have a template that I cut out of the box that this came in with. It's the only cardboard I had big enough to do it. So what I've got going on right there is I put these 2 air compressors up on here to hold this weight down on the sawhorses. And what I'm trying to do is I'm putting a lot of weight. This motor is really heavy. And I'm putting a lot of weight on it to bend this down some. So I've got a long way to go. I've been spraying warm water on it, and I probably could heat it up a little bit and let it fall. And we're trying to get it bent to a point where if I have to use some kind of a bracket on the inside of it to make it that shape, I can use stuff like this right here I've got some 1 inch and I've got some 1.25 inches. Might have to use the 1.25 inches, but I can take and bend that to the shape that I want the door to stay in. Make it about I don't know, probably about 24 inches long, and bend it right there where that bend is, and then bolt it to the door. That way it will keep that contour. But I gotta wait until I'm putting the door on and find out where would be a good place to put that. So this will be one of the last things that gets done. So now, I mean, we kicked around doing plexiglass panels for the window and have it on a piano hinge where it folded down and velcroed to the outside of the door when you got it open, and then you could flip it up and have 2 set screws at the top with wing nuts that you can attach it. Well, we got these other ones. We wanted to send these back, but because we cut the box up, we have no way of shipping them back to them. And finding a box that big around here would be next to impossible. You're asking for a miracle. So we decided that we're not going to let these be too big of a loss. I mean, he paid $520 some for these, and I'm telling you right now, they're not worth it. Don't buy them. They got magnets in them, so we'll get some magnets out of the deal. And those are pretty strong magnets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rare earth magnets. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and cut this out. Cut this, just the window out, the whole zipper part. And we're going to cut this window out. And I think I already said that in the last part of this video. So you're going to get to see me cut up a $500 set of doors. And hope it works out. So let's get this thing cut it. So now we have our window. So now I'm going to take the weight off of this thing, and we're going to see about fitting it on there. Alright, so this one here is the passenger side. And that will go there just like that somehow. He's going to have to be able to zip it. So it's got to at least be on the inside of that zipper, or the outside of that zipper. So we got to cut this to fit. So that goes there like that. So we're probably going to have to cut it from the other side. And we're probably going to want to try to make it as square as possible. Well, if you put this square to that, this is downhill, so that would look okay, because this is the front of the door, so it will be kind of slanting down towards the front. So that might work out all right, because this up here, we kind of want it to be square to the top of the door. So right about right there is where we're going to make our mark. So what I'll do is I'm probably going to have to do it on the other side, simply because I need to unzip it. Either that or mark it like it is and just do it from underneath the plastic. We could try that method. So maybe I can slide my hand in here. No, that ain't gonna work. What do I want to use? So we're gonna have to flip the door. All right, so let's flip this door up. Yeah, this is the way we need to do it. But I got to make sure that I've got enough to where the zipper will be right at the edge of it. So we want to fold that over right here. At least that's the way I think it should be. Because we kind of want the zipper, the wood, to be right at the zipper, if we can make that happen. So in order to do that, it actually needs to be stretched. Because this can cause us a problem here with this being all bunched up like that going around that turn. So we've got enough here. That's going to put the wood right there. So that's going to be an awful thin area. Window's kind of too big. But it's going to be thin on this side and that side. Huh. It's going to be awful thin, ain't it? Let's see if we can go down a little bit further. See what that gets us. We can split the difference right there, but I think this is too big. Because that's going to be really thin right there. And we got to put a latch on it somewhere in that area too. So all right, I'm gonna place it right there. We split the difference here. That looks about the same. All right, so now we're going to draw this and go ahead, just draw it and then pull it off and see what it looks like. All right, guys, for the moment of truth. Let's see where that puts us. That gets us pretty thin right here. And right here. And then right here, it's really thin. So, let's imagine we unzip that. We might be able to just, well, no, that's where this is going to land. I was thinking about maybe just taking and not cut this part out, leave that part there, come around like that. But it looks like it's going to hide this. So he'd have to reach in a hole to open it. So you can open this from the inside or the outside. So now this goes to the other side. So if we cut this out, the handle will be on the inside. Just like that. So we're going to try to utilize that handle somehow. We'll see. So that's my plan so far. Yeah, I'm kind of a little upset about the way this happened. You know, these things should have fit better than that. And it says on there for a 570, and there's clearly not for a 570. So it had a big old gap in the front on the bottom, and it was about that far from actually reaching the bottom of the floor or the bottom of the door. So we're pretty much forced to have to do it this way. We're hoping it'll work. So basically, this here is going to be stapled to the other side, and the wood should come to about right here, all the way around. So this here will be on the inside of the wood. This will be, oh, I ain't got you in focus. So it's going to come to right here, all the way around once I cut that hole out. So we can put this on the other side. So this will be showing on the outside. And hopefully we can staple it in a way that it looks pretty decent. Who knows, maybe we can do some design. Of course, if we staple it and paint the staples black, you ain't never going to, probably never notice it. But if we have to, we'll find something to trim it with. I'm sure I got some stuff around here. I think I got some sheets of aluminum, real thin stuff, that might work to make a beauty ring around it. I don't know. Anyway, that'll end this part of the Polaris Ranger 570 doors. And I hope it works. But I'm going to go ahead and soak this down, put my weight back on it, and we're going to try to get that to bend a little bit more than that. It needs to come down some more. So it's starting to bend. So I'm going to soak it down again and put some weight on it, maybe even take the heat gun and go across it and kind of warm that glue up so it'll move a little bit and flex. So it doesn't need much. It needs about that far. So we're about a ½ inch of that. So got another inch and a quarter or something to go. So anyway, hope this guys helps you guys have a better idea to do your doors for your side by side. And now the doors that we went and got, or the plywood we went to get, was actually cheaper than buying them $500 doors. And if he would have put plexiglass in it, it would have been that much cheaper, and we could have took these back. But we couldn't. We don't have a box no more. I used it for a template. So I think that's what you call painting yourself into a corner. Anyway, there's the other door. It will look exactly like it. The only difference that one has is it won't have this. It'll come straight across. It won't have this notch out. This notch out is for the gas tank. So the other one is going to be cut out right here and go straight over, because they're both identical. I got two of them, left and right. So anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. I sure ain't getting enough comments, guys. I must have some dead frickin' subscribers that never say anything, ain't got nothing to say. Come on, man. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Later.